If you're looking to make a move, don't buy a home until you've watched this video. By now, I'm sure you've heard of closing costs and you're familiar with the fact that buying a home costs more than just the purchase price you offer for the house. But how much more? And just what are those costs going to contribute to? Today, I'm going to break down the 5 types of upfront costs when purchasing a home and when to expect those fees, so that you know what to expect at any point of the closing process. It's pretty common knowledge that unless you've secured 100% financing, you will need to place down payment on the home to cover the difference between your loan amount and the purchase price of the house. Your lender should let you know your loan to value ratio, or LTV, so that you can calculate the down payment based on the purchase price. To find this number, multiply the purchase price of the home by the percentage not covered by the loan. If your LTV is 80%, that means your down payment must be 20% of the purchase price. 0.2 times the price of the home equals your down payment. But this isn't the only cash you need to close. Same thing if you're doing an FHA loan with a 3.5% down payment on a $300,000 house. Multiply $300,000 by 0.35 and your down payment will be $10,500. However, there are several other costs, both at the closing table and during the transaction, that you need to plan for. The first out-of-pocket expense you need to consider is your earnest deposit. This is your good faith promise to see the transaction through completion, and it's due upon full execution of the contract. While this may vary in some markets, in our Kansas City market, you will usually pay this to the seller's title company, and that title company will hold the money until closing. The main exception is new construction. With new builds, you will usually pay it directly to the builder. While there isn't a set dollar amount for earnest money, in our KC market, the most common earnest deposit amount we see is 1%. That said, it's a good tool to use in negotiations to show your commitment and hope for a weight behind your offer. This amount isn't an additional fee. It's actually part of the down payment that you offer before closing to show you have skin in the game, and it's held in an escrow account until closing and funding from your lender to the seller. Come closing time, that money is shown on your statement as a credit to you off the price as the buyer. While a financial earnest deposit isn't legally required, some sellers may request a minimum amount. We often advise our clients to anticipate paying 1% on resale and about 5% of the contract price on new construction. On a resale home, this deposit is refundable as long as you cancel for an allowed contingency in the contract, like inspections, appraisal issues, or loan denial. You can't just back out for any reason and get it back though. On new construction, this amount usually is non-refundable. So new builds require more earnest and it's non-refundable. How is that fair? Well, the builder is building that home for you with the selections you choose. If you bail on them and don't close, they need wiggle room to get that home sold to someone else that might have specific selections you chose that may not be appealing to others. Your agent should also specify in the contract how many days after execution of the contract you have to make that deposit and provide you with information on how to make that payment. The contract templates provided by the Kansas City Regional Association of Realtors defaults to 3 calendar days unless otherwise specified in the contract. Have a plan in place to complete this important step when submitting your offer. The money needs to be in the bank. Shortly after, unless you've chosen to purchase the property in an as-is condition with no inspections, you're going to have to pay for an inspection by a licensed inspector. Again, the time frame may vary depending on your specific contract, but these are usually conducted within the first week of execution. This fee is paid directly to the inspector and is usually due at the time of the inspection or upon receiving your inspection report. Your inspection fees are not part of your closing costs because they're usually paid up front. And while I probably would not recommend it, they can oftentimes be put on a credit card if you need every dollar for your closing costs and down payment. Depending on which inspections you choose to conduct, because none of them are required, you may be paying more than one inspector. Oftentimes, our clients choose to have a separate radon, sewer, pest, or even mold inspection, maybe even foundation. The average price for these inspections and how necessary you may decide they are will vary from market to market, client to client, and house to house. They also take into account the square footage of the area being inspected, the ease of access to necessary items, and the skill of the licensed inspector. In our current Kansas City market, we advise our clients to estimate about $500 to $900 in inspection inspection fees. It's also important to make sure your inspector of choice is insured. You as the buyer could be held liable for any damage done during the inspection. A properly licensed and insured inspector should be able to cover accidental damages through their insurance company and prevent a potentially huge out-of-pocket expense to you. Next up is the appraisal. If you're financing your purchase, chances are very high that the lender will require the home to go through an appraisal before financing can be secured. There are exceptions to this. For instance, when the down payment on a home is high enough to negate the potential risk of defaulting on the loan and being upside down. While it is rare that the appraisal requirement is waived, your lender should be able to tell you either before or shortly after going under contract if you will need to purchase an appraisal for the property. If they waive the appraisal, that's also a huge negotiating benefit to you. This fee is usually due when the appraisal is ordered, often 5 to 15 days after going under contract. Some lenders may recommend ordering the appraisal right away to help expedite the closing process, while with others, you may choose to authorize and pay for the appraisal only after the inspection process is complete and you know that you wish to move forward with the purchase before spending money unnecessarily. If possible, waiting until you make it through the inspection contingency to order and pay for your appraisal could save you several $100s if you choose not to move forward. Around Kansas City, we're seeing appraisals cost roughly $500 to $700. Again, the exact prices vary by market and appraiser, but it's a good ballpark estimate to make sure you're prepared. If you're paying cash, you have every right to an appraisal contingency. I don't think I've ever seen a cash buyer exercise that right. They usually choose to save the money and just have their realtor pull comparable sales prior to making the offer. Finally, at the closing table, be prepared to pay your closing cost and the rest of your down payment. The closing cost is sort of a catch-all term to refer to the fees paid to those involved with processing the transaction and any judgments or liens that you might be responsible for, which is rare. This is when you can expect to pay your lender, title company, and real estate agent for their time and services. These costs should not be a surprise though. Make sure to ask your lender for a loan estimate when getting pre-approved. There will be some variation when getting down to the penny, but this breakdown should get you in the ballpark of your final costs. These are the fees that can see the most variation though, since it includes the most items. Title fees will include the settlement fee with the lender, recording service, closing protection to the title insurance company, lender's title insurance, and may also include things like a wire and delivery and handling fee. Now, different title companies in different parts of the country may call these different things as well, so check with them. Lender fees will include processing, underwriting, credit report, document preparation and delivery, the work done on employment verification, any prepaid interest or points, your first year of homeowners insurance, prorated interest for the remaining part of the month in which you're closing, and impounds like property taxes or prepaid homeowners insurance premiums to keep in escrow. I know that was a lot. If the home is part of a homeowners association, you may be charged a prorated amount to reimburse the seller for the remainder of the payment term. Any commission you agreed to pay your real estate agent will also be charged to you at closing. Average closing costs vary widely from market to market, so make sure you're getting the loan estimate up front. In 2024 in Kansas City, we've been recommending our buyers plan for anywhere from $5,000 to $9,000, but always keep in mind that the price of your home will have a big impact on where that final number lands, as it directly affects your insurance, taxes, and interest. When you add those last 4 payment types to your down payment, your home purchase could easily cost you an extra $5,000 to $10,000 on top of the purchase price to the seller. Even more if you're paying commission to your buyer's agent. So if that thought sends a wave of panic through you, don't fret yet. Many lenders offer financing options that help mitigate some of these extra fees, but that will likely mean taking a higher interest rate. We offer in-house lending with our real estate team, and if you'd like to see what you qualify for, I'll leave the link down below. It's possible to negotiate some of these costs into your contract to be paid by the seller as well. I actually posted another video on the topic of contract negotiations and how to get the seller to cover some or all of your closing costs, and I'll leave that in the link below as well. Skilled representation is crucial here. A good real estate agent can let you know if the market conditions for the house you want to buy are primed to ask the seller to pay some of your closing costs from their proceeds, including your agent's commission. If you'd like a crash course in Home Buying 101, make sure to check out our free guide to buying linked in the description below. We also offer a free home buyer consultation where we personally walk you through these steps. Let me know in the comments if any of these additional fees came as a surprise to you. As always, like this video and subscribe for more Kansas City real estate and lifestyle videos every single week. And if you're thinking of making a move in the Kansas City area, call or text us. My number is on the screen and in the description below. Make sure to put Kansas City's highest rated real estate team to work for you. See you next time.